Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody. First Hardrocker Luncheon of the 2015 fall athletic season. Exciting things ahead for the Hardrockers, especially this weekend. All of our athletic teams in the fall getting ready to open up, and most of them on the road outside of cross country. But glad you're here for a preview as we get ready to kick things off. And to do that, new head coach of our men's soccer program, welcoming up here to preview the opening weekend, Jordan Cadlick.
Thank you all for coming. Before we preview the weekend, I wanted to introduce the newest member of our staff from Corvallis, Oregon, Andrew Connick over here. Please stand. Andrew comes to us, he was just playing over in Australia, and he graduated from Benedictine University in Naperville, Illinois, so he brings a lot of experience with us, and he's a huge asset to our program, so we're happy to have him. This weekend we traveled to Des Moines, Iowa, where we're actually hosting a tournament with University of Illinois Springfield, Maryville University, and the University of Mary out of North Dakota. So on Friday we open up with Illinois Springfield. We're extremely excited about this matchup. We played them last fall and lost to them on a penalty 2-1. So we're looking to get a little bit of payback with that game. And then Saturday the guys are going to have a chance to have an occasional meal out of my dad's place. So I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is about 2 hours east of Des Moines. I played at Drake University, which is in Des Moines, so this is a bit of a homecoming weekend for me. A bit ironic that my first game is in Des Moines, in my home state, so extremely excited about that. I'm excited for all the guys to see where I grew up. It'll be fun. And then Sunday we play Maryville, which we don't really know anything about. They played before us on Friday, so it's a good opportunity for us to scout them and see what they're all about. And then Saturday we can move forward and prepare for them. So as far as our team goes, we have a pretty good mix of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We're going to have a starting goalkeeper. This weekend is going to be a freshman, which you don't see very often in college soccer. But over the past 3 weeks of preseason, he's proved himself to be the #1 goalkeeper. And we have all the confidence in the world in him right now. So one guy that we're going to miss for the remainder of the season, we think right now, is Andreas Scow, who's arguably one of our best players on the team. He has an ankle issue that's just been reoccurring, and we had Dr. Soul check that out, and he saw a foot doctor and everything, and he's going to need surgery. So only good things, I would think we're going to be even stronger next year with only losing 2 seniors, and having him back is going to be a huge plus for us. So other than that, we're extremely confident in our guys going through the weekend and throughout the season. So, any questions? Yep.
What did that exhibition win do for you guys? What did that do for you guys?
Yeah, we played Dakota Wesleyan. It was 6 days in the preseason. We beat them 1-0. Played our starting group in the first 30, mixed in the last 30 in our reserves in the final 30. So I think that boosted our confidence a lot, only having one win last season. It just brings a ton of momentum going in Illinois Springfield and Maryville this weekend. So if we can pick up a win against Springfield on Friday, I think that's going to be huge for our confidence going into Sunday. Yep.
How many guys are carrying on the roster now?
We have 31 right now, minus Andreas. Whenever he has surgery, it's going to be 30. That's a huge roster. And Andrew and I have been, I think we're doing a pretty good job of balancing that. It's just we have 2 groups in every exercise that we do. But this week we've been doing a lot more tactical stuff, 11v11, trying to get our guys in the right places tactically. So it's been a bit difficult for the guys that may not see the field this year, the ones that are so-called reserves right now. It's been difficult for them just to cope with that.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to watch the games online anywhere this weekend? And if so, does it cost anything?
Brad Bloom, just asked that question, is our sports information director, who will be traveling with us over the weekend, which is going to be a huge huge help to us as we're hosting that tournament. Him and Tiffany McCampbell are going to make the logistics side of things over the weekend much easier for us. The game will be streamed on Stretch Internet, and you can find that link on our website, GoRockers.com.
It's free, right?
And it's free, yes.
I think it's an HD too, right?
HD this year, so we have a 6 soccer ball, that's pretty good. Yeah.
How do you host or co-host a tournament out of state?
We are hosting the tournament. There's no co-hosting involved. It's kind of a middle ground. Des Moines is for Illinois, Springfield, and Maryville. It's been there's been challenges, but it's a good learning experience for myself and for Andrew and Tiffany and Brad, who are all helping out with this, just to see everything that goes into a tournament. And, hosting one in a different city has been challenging, but like I said, it's a good learning experience.
Thank you.
So. All right, thank you.
Good luck to Jordan and the crew this weekend. Also, we mentioned cross country's at home. SD Mines Invitational is Friday in his second full season as head cross country coach. Welcome up Steve Johnson.
All right, thanks, Nate. Yeah, as Nate mentioned, we have our first home meet of the season. It's actually our only home meet of the season. This Friday, 9 a.m. at Founders Park. The men will run first, the women will run shortly after. The men's race is about 5 miles, it's a little bit short, and the women will run a 3-mile course there. Right now, as of right now, we have confirmed 3 other teams coming. Shattering State, who is always tough. They are on their women's side. They're returning 7 women this year. And 6 of those 7 were their starting 7 from last year. So we know they're going to be tough to match up with. Gillette's men are one of the ones that we're really curious to see this year on the men's side. They had a really good recruiting class, at least from what their coach tells me. And so we'll see how they're able to turn that over. And then Central Wyoming is bringing up a full men's team and part of a women's team. Looking at our side of things, how we stack up, on the women's side, we've got 5 women coming back from our region team last year, and we actually get a senior back. She was on co-op last year, Brittany Wood. So we actually are sitting pretty good in that regard. We had a good freshman class. Remember, we had no idea who our #1 runner was all of last year, and we're starting to see one of them emerge a little bit, but we're still fighting to see who that #1 is, and more importantly now, we're fighting to see who our 4, 5, 6, and 7 runners are going to be. Our women have really stepped up with their summer training. They came in and they had a great week of camp. They did a great job in their tests, but this is what really counts on Friday. On the men's side, we returned 4 from the region team. Unfortunately for us, though, 2 of those guys are going to be sitting on the sidelines with injuries this week. We're working on getting them back as fast as we can, but we got 2 solid freshmen in that are really going to help lead the way. I'm going to give you one name to watch for on the men's side, and that's Ashton Grissom. Ashton is out of Parker, Colorado, and we're gonna get a chance to really see what he can do. He came out and he put down we do a 15-minute run test, and we've been doing this test. Coach Schaefer, how long have we been doing this test?
Since 1984.
Okay. And who's #1 in that test?
Ashton is.
Ashton is. Ashton ran in 15 minutes. He was literally 3 meters short of 3 miles. So he's definitely going to be a good one to watch, and we're excited to see what he can get done. And more importantly, he's pulling the rest of that pack forward for us, which is always huge. The other thing that happens this weekend with the meet this Friday is that we have, for the last 3 years, battled with Gillette for the Wyodak pickaxe. And this is a challenge where we take, normally in cross country you would just score your top 5 runners and men and women are separate. What we do is we score top 5 men and women combined for this competition. And we match up with Gillette and get a chance to see how we can do. We actually started it while we were in the transition, and we won it for the first time last year, so we're hoping we can hang on to it for a little while. Any questions?
So you guys are at Founders Park, but where do they run the course, like up on Cowboy Hill? Or?
We run on both sides of the creek. The course starts and finishes in the main part of the park there, just toward the just to the west of the parking lot, and then it actually loops around through the east end of the park and then crosses over onto the new bike trail that they put in on that side.
Okay.
So women have 2 loops and the guys have 3.5.
How many athletes are on your roster?
We have right now 8 men and 11 women, which is actually another first for us to have more women than men. Anything else?
I'm sorry, Coach. Could you explain how cross country is scored?
Yeah, cross country is a low score wins kind of situation. And so every team has 5 runs. Every team in college, we can run for most of our meets as many runners as we want. The top 7 all affect scoring, so they all get counted in the scoring points. And the top 5 actually go toward your team score. The last 2 are what we call pushers, meaning that they take points away from another team, but they don't get added into your team score. And so the bottom line obviously is low score wins, and the NCAA last year implemented a new tie-break format that we actually had to use last year at our home meet, where the ties are broken. It used to be the ties were broken up by the number 6 runner. Now it's head-to-head matchups of your 1 through 5. And so we had to put that in place last year. And curious to see if we'll get to use it again.
Yeah, this is your 2nd season in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. How are things shaping up conference-wise?
You know, that's going to be a tough one to tell. I mean, we know a few teams that we feel have significantly improved. We believe that we're a lot stronger team than what we were last year, but and on the guys' side, we have a front runner that we didn't have at this point last year. But problem with cross country is that courses and weather conditions really play a huge difference in how each course is run. So I don't want to speculate too much, but I think we're better off than we were last year. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. I do remind everybody, Friday, if you haven't checked out a cross-country meet, really neat thing to watch. Right there at Founders Park, they'll get going at 9 a.m. Come out and support the Hardrockers Friday at 9 a.m. Cross-country team. Familiar face of the volleyball program. Now the head coach. Welcome up Doug Tabbert to preview the weekend.
Thanks. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Hope we see you throughout the season at our matches, because we can use all the support we can get. Want to wish Stacy and his group, and Steve and his group, and Jordan and his group best of luck as you start your seasons. And we hope everything goes well for you. Give you a little kind of rundown of where we are at the moment, a little update. We started practice 2.5 weeks ago. Had a week of 2-a-days. Finished that week with a scrimmage at Shattered State. Went down there. They had 24 kids on the floor when we walked in the gym for the scrimmage. Fortunately, none of them could pass very well, so that was a help for us. We played 5 sets, dumped them pretty well the first 3, and I'm kind of sitting there thinking, this is going too easy for us, and our kids are going to think, hey, this is not a big deal, and our freshmen are going to think this is really easy, and our upperclassmen think we're pretty good, and I'm thinking this is going way too easy. And leave it to a head coach to sit on the bench during a scrimmage in the preseason, and you're having your way with your opponent, and you're going, this is not good. So, but it was part of the process, and since then classes started, we've been practicing, and some good days, some bad days, some in between. We'll find out this weekend a lot about who we are and what we're doing. We go down to Washburn University, in Kansas, this weekend for a tournament, and they're our first match. They are ranked, I think they're ranked 14th or 15th in the country right now, and they're a perennial top 10, top 12 team in the last 10 years or so. So we get off to a start with a pretty good team right off the bat. We play Pitt State, who is kind of a struggling team right now. They'll be really athletic from the people I've talked to, but trying to figure some things out. Missouri Southern, kind of similar. They're in my AA team. They have had some challenges recently, but they're always really athletic, and it's just a question of, they got a second-year coach and how well he's kind of cleaned up what they do, and they'll be athletic, and we just hope they're kind of sloppy and not real precise, which is kind of what they've been the last few years. And we play at Florida State, and Florida State's typically, you find them in the national rankings pretty frequently, kind of in that upper teens, low 20s. They're not ranked right now in the preseason, but they're solid. They've got a veteran coach that's been there a long time. So we've got plenty of challenges this weekend, and we'll see what we're made of right off the bat. Next weekend we go to Upper Iowa for a tournament. Kind of a lot of teams from up north, northern Michigan, who's pretty good tradition in Division II volleyball. Michigan Tech, don't know as much about them. St. John State. We'll be the smallest team in the gym, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of, those teams get a lot of those Nordic kids from Wisconsin and Michigan, and they're always big and physical, so I'm guessing we'll be the smallest team in the gym. But we'll go up there and play as hard as we can and do the things we do well and see what happens. Unlike Jordan, Washburn's kind of a homecoming for me. I grew up about 25 minutes from campus, and I think Jordan's talking about he's hoping that he's glad his kids get to meet his parents and all that. Kind of the opposite. I'm kind of hoping I keep our kids away from my parents. They'll be there and we'll have a family, so hopefully I can manage that, because they'll pester my parents to no end. Gotta kind of save the family reputation. And then we start RMAC play after that. And the RMAC, volleyball-wise, I was in that conference for 4 years a few years ago, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Know a lot of the coaches, a lot of the schools. It's a challenging conference in volleyball. The top 4 schools are always nationally ranked. There's 4 teams we'll play. Every time we see them, they'll be nationally ranked, barring something very unusual. 2 teams in the top 10 in the national poll right now, and the team that's picked to win the conference is not either of those 2. So plenty of challenges for us in the RMAC, but it's a good conference, it's a good move for us, and just part of our evolution as a Division II program is to join a conference like that and have to play at that level and kind of evolve as a program. So we look forward to that, knowing that there'll be some difficult times, but hopefully there'll be some good times as well. So a little bit about our team. It's a lot of newness this year. We've got 14 active kids, 6 returners, 7 new freshmen, and a transfer, and a coaching staff, new head coach, and 2 new part-time assistants. So it's a lot of new faces for us. And I really, that kind of grabbed me that set. The first day of practice, I'm thinking 2/3 of the people in the gym don't even know what our sets are called. So if we're going to try and play today, we've got to explain to 2/3 of the people in the gym, including all of our setters, because they're all new, and all of our coaches but me, what we even call our sets. So we can't even play today until we kind of do some stuff. But it's a good group, and they've been, I think, very energized so far, really together. Everything they do is pretty tight-knit right now, so hopefully we can keep that going as we get into the season here. Just a few people to highlight here. And if you see us play this fall, it's a lot of new faces, so there's a lot of people to learn. Michaela Reese, who's a junior this year, outside hitter, kid out of Arizona, is really starting to emerge as a Division II outside. If we can keep her healthy, she's got a shoulder issue that never seems to go away, but she's developed into a very solid Division II player, Division II outside. So she's one to watch. Our two ball control kids, Kylie Gorn product, remember her from last year, was a freshman last year, about this tall, and there it goes down about there, but really made a big jump from last year to this year. Really good ball control player, playing really well this fall so far. So we'll count on her a lot to keep us in system. And then Kylie Miller is our transferred from Washburn, and another really good ball control kid, and that's why we brought her in. So those two I think will help us a lot as we get into the season. And then we got a freshman by the name of Anna Bright, and she's about a 6'1" kid, long, lean, fast. She just looks the part of the Division II middle, and we're really, I think, very fortunate to get her. A lot of people, she was under the radar for a long time in the recruiting process, and we got on her and kind of got a lead on her. And by the time we had her committed, she's going to club tournaments this past spring, and people are seeing her. She's getting looks from everybody, including some really Division I programs, some elite Division II programs, and fortunately we already had her in the bag, so she was telling people, no thanks, not interested, and that was good for us. So, but she's going to be a very good player. She's already kind of emerging as sort of a wow kid in practice. And if we can get her the ball and use her the level she's capable of playing, she's going to be a really fun player to watch. So keep an eye on her. She'll stand out really quick. Very humble, very kind of soft-spoken, but she can play. So, and as she keeps developing, she's going to be fun to watch. So excited about that. And that's kind of where we are for the time being. So. Any questions from me?
So what time is your first match?
1 o'clock, 1 or 1:30 on Friday at Washburn. Later that day, I don't have the times with me. I think one of them's at 6, one of them's later in the evening. So let's schedule on the website. Brad, help me out here.
I will do it.
Okay, thanks. First one's either 1 or 1:30 against Washburn, and then we're later in the day. So, and we're that the next morning, and then we got a mid-afternoon before we head back. So, all right, it's easy. Thanks.
Hardrocker football team kicks off the season this weekend on the road against a team they've faced the last 2 years in the opening day. Welcome up Stacy Collins as he gets ready for Colorado Lions.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. It's football season. It's that time. So great to watch some football last Saturday and get it kicked off. And certainly a lot of work goes into it as you go through the whole season. You break down off-season winter conditioning. You roll through spring football. We had a great summer this year. We were able to hire a full-time strength and conditioning coach, Brett McGuess, came up to us from the Air Force Academy as part of the agreement that we have. We signed with Rapid City Regional, and that's been a huge plus. We had about 60 guys here early all summer, working through the summer, and that really put a shot in the arm as our camp, because our camp's pretty short with the way school starts, and I thought we had a tremendous off-season that way. I really like this group. It's our oldest group that we've had. I believe we have 18 seniors right now, so a lot more maturity than what we've had in the past, and really seen some leaders emerge. Our players voted on captains this last weekend, so our captains this season will be Trey McKinney on offense, Christian Chavez on defense, James Carter on special teams, then our at-large captain is Sam Callan. So I think those guys truly do represent this unit and the hard work that they put in. Very, very formidable opponent week 1. Colorado Mines is a good football team. Nationally ranked, I think they're 17th or 18th in a couple different polls. They returned the RMAC preseason Offensive Player of the Year in Justin Dvorak. He's their quarterback. They've got a skilled group of receivers. They've got an All-American returner. Their special teams is very solid. Their kicker and punters also all preseason All-American. So they're very talented on the offensive side. Defensively, I don't think they get enough credit defensively. They're a lot better defensively. Everybody talks about what they do on the offensive side of the football, but they're a very, very good defensive football team. It's really led by their defensive front. Really strong group up top. So it's a good football team. New coaching staff down there. Coach Stitt went to the University of Montana, and you obviously got a chance to watch them play last week. But Greg Brandon took the program over. Greg's a very, very accomplished head coach. Was the head coach at Bowling Green after Urban Meyer left. has been an offensive coordinator at several Division I schools, most recently Wyoming and New Mexico State. So they're not going to take the drop off from the coaching standpoint. You're going to see a tough, physical, good football team, and we're excited to be able to go down there and play a team of that caliber. Our guys are ready to hit somebody different. It's been, as you get through 20, 25 practices, you're ready to see a different color. And I think playing tough competition early really sets the tone for the rest of the season. So, what questions can I answer for you about our program or about the game we had this week? Healthy, yeah, it goes college football. We've got some injuries. No, with injury comes opportunity. And you see it, you've seen it at the NFL level, you see it at the college level, it's a physical game. So yeah, we've got some guys down, probably more than I ever want, but I can tell you that every year at this time. But I think we've gotten some more depth over the time with the recruiting classes. So that's been good. So we've had a chance for guys to step up, and that'll continue throughout the season. But we've got some guys banged up. We've got some guys that are stepping up in those positions also.
You mentioned you have a lot of seniors. How many do you have? Well, they're going to play all over. How many start on the game?
Oh, that's a great question, Tim. I think we're probably starting right around 5 to 6 on each side of the ball, without going right through the 2 deep on that piece. And then you get a lot of guys that are in good roles that are also maybe not starting, but working in throughout and give us depth.
Coach, what are you most excited about with this season?
I like this team. Each team has a personality that's different. Every team's different. I like their work ethic. I like their leadership. Making that change from Division II and changing a lot of different things. Certainly the level of competition, the culture, all those things. And I've seen a lot of that culminate with this group. I think a lot of it has to do, some of these seniors were with us, or they were part of our first recruiting class. We've added some other pieces. So it's a good group to be around. Not that our other teams were bad groups, but the personalities, they're a hard-working group. They're a self-motivated group. And those are fun teams to be around. So that's the thing I'm most excited about. I'm excited to watch this team out there on Saturday. They work hard. We've had 2 really good practices yesterday and this morning. And I'm excited to watch them go out and compete at a high level.
Tough to get a feel for Colorado Mines with Greg Brandon taking over.
Yeah, it is. With Coach Stitt, his staff have been there a long time. So you knew offensively and defensively that what they were going to do on that piece. With Coach, he's been around. He's certainly trying to watch tape from a lot of different areas. We really focus more on ourselves, on what things that we need to do well, and not get too caught up in scheme or some other things that they may be doing, because you just don't know. And that's the same any week 1, even if it is a returning staff, because everybody's going to have some wrinkles. They're going to match their personnel. So really trying to get away from scheming off of last year's tape, whoever that opponent is, and really focusing on the things we do well and make sure that we can play hard, we can play physical and competitive.
I think, Coach, they're playing at a new stadium this year. Is that right?
Yeah, they certainly are. They opened a new facility up. Nice facility. I was actually heading down to the RMAC conference meetings in Colorado Springs a few weeks ago and swung by there and took a peek at it. And they did a really nice job. So they're in the same location. Their field was there, but they surrounded with a very nice facility, done a nice job, and we'll open it up. So it's a great environment. It's going to be a great environment for our players, and they'll enjoy that piece of it.
How many fans do you expect in this game?
That's a great question, Mike. I have no idea. I really don't.
20,000?
20. No, it won't be 20,000. No, I don't think so. I don't think it won't be 20. I'm not sure. When we played down there in the past, the draw's been kind of in a normal RMAC range. I'm sure they'll have a little bit bigger crowd. I think they're opening the stadium. I'm sure they have some festivities going at that time. But it's going to be a great venue to play in. I tell you what, the old visitor locker room they had with that old stadium was about the size of Nate's office right there. So if nothing else, we actually took our kids onto the bus at halftime the last time. So that side will be better from a coaching standpoint.
What time do you kick off? What time do you leave?
We kick off at noon, so it's an early kickoff. So we get up, we get going, kick off, and we'll be home, right after that, get home in a decent hour.
Coach, how many athletes did you say were here this summer?
We had about between 60 and 70, depending on when they came in early for the summer.
And so how are those students determined or selected for that?
Well, it's really their choice. It's a voluntary program on that one. So now the nice thing with Division II, when we added our strength and conditioning coach, they can work with him directly. The rest of our coaching staff can't work with him. So they're able to work with Coach McGuinness through his workout program on the field conditioning piece on that. And then they do some own skelly 7-on-7 stuff on their own. So that's a huge shot in the arm and getting us ahead of the game. Still got a lot of guys, about 10% of our team does internships each year, so you see those guys doing internships all over the U.S., and they came back, and some of those are our older guys, Sam Cowan, Christian Chavez, Cal Hudson, all those guys. But a lot of these guys were able to come back, get some jobs here, work back home and come, and they really made a commitment to get back, and it worked out very well for us.
Great, thank you.
Who are some of the key freshmen and transfer students to watch for this year?
Sure. Freshman-wise, Devin Nixon, a running back, he's from Georgia, has came in and has done a really nice job on that piece, so we're excited about what Devin brings. We're not going to play as many freshmen as we have in the past, which is probably a good thing. I think it says a mark where our program's at. A couple other freshmen that play. John Williams is a freshman DB from Camarillo area in California. He's going to help us out on special teams. He'll get some time on that end. We got a couple of freshman linemen that are right on the bubble of the 2 deep, so we'll see where they're at, if we pull the red shirt or not. There's a couple of freshman receivers, Nathan Courtney out of Colorado Springs. That's done a nice job. He's going to play some football for us here on Saturday. So we've got a handful. I'm sure I'm missing some guys on that end, but I think the nice thing is that we're not playing as many freshmen. I mean, that shows that we've gotten a depth on the program. I think my first year we played about 70% of the freshmen that were here, just because they were so much more talented and ready to play. Key transfer-wise with it, Kevin Mills is a slot receiver from Southwestern Community College. I'm really excited to watch Kevin play. Jameer Moore, corner from Phoenix College. I'm excited to watch Jameer play. And we have a handful of other guys that are going to be in the 2 deep, but I certainly think those 2 guys will be at the top of the list.
This weekend's not the first school night football that started. Tell us a little bit about Sunday, what happened Sunday, and some of the volunteer hours your kids do with the NFL youth. Maybe not everyone knows how much work goes into that for your guys.
Yeah, we run an NFL Youth Flag Football League, and Coach Kratzer started that. Ford did a great job with it, so we've kept that going. But we did a free NFL Youth Flag Football camp, a couple weeks ago, so our guys are around it. And then our guys volunteer about 5 hours on Sunday, and each guy works about an hour on that time. So we give them time to go to church in the morning and come back and work. So we put a good chunk of hours in. We have about 60 of our players involved with it every Sunday, and they run this NFL youth program. They coach a team, so there's 2 to 3 players to a team. They coach it, they officiate it, they run it, and it's been a great activity. It gets a lot of. O'Hara Stadium's packed. When you come down there on Sunday afternoon, it looks like there's a football game going on because there's parents on the ramps and kids are having a great time. And I think the neatest thing about it is those kids don't know if we're the Hardrockers or the Dallas Cowboys. They're enjoying it. It's great for our players to be around. So it's been a real positive event.
What do we look for from your offense? A lot of run, a lot of pass, or can you mix it up?
We'll mix it up quite a bit. And when we're really hitting on all cylinders, we're mixing it up. Coach Dinks and our offensive staff have done a tremendous job. With Trent McKinney coming back, he's a dual threat player. And Jake Sullivan's going to be very active in what we're doing too in a lot of different roles. So we've got some very talented guys and returners. But when we're really doing what we want to do, we're mixing it up in about 50-50. Now everybody says that, but part of it is what's the defense going to give us? And the nice thing about our offensive system is it's flexible enough to take advantage of those pieces. So if they're going to play a lot of a certain coverage or a certain front, we may throw it more. We're not locked into having to do something, and I like that piece of it. So balance, I think, is the key offensively. We're up tempo. We need to keep the ball moving, and we need to take care of the football. If we do those things, I think we'll really continue with the success we've had offensively. All right, thanks for everybody for coming out.
Thanks, Coach. Busy luncheon today. That'll conclude the activities, but that means it's going to be an exciting weekend this weekend. Get out and support the cross-country team here at home. And of course, you can follow the Hardrockers as well online. We'll see you next week. Thanks to everybody for coming out. Appreciate it.